It's Monday, and that means it's time for another mock draft. Who goes first? What's the top priority today on Locked On Chiefs?
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Welcome into a brand new week, Chiefs Kingdom. Nice to see you. We're brought to you today by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account today, and use our code Locked On. That's going to get you $20 first purchase on easy tickets. We're going to get in today. The number one thing that we do on Mondays is theorize about the future. What comes next? The latest scenarios, the latest needs. As we go through free agency, we're going to put it all together and do a mock simulation of the NFL draft for you guys. He's Chris Clark from Chiefs Corner. Going to run down the cap for you over there, give you all the QB analysis that you're looking for, and bring you the fan perspective here on the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm Ryan Tracy, the founder of Rogue Analytics and Performance Consulting, as well as NFL33.com for all your team building needs, articles, and wants. I have a great piece out there on what I think are the best fits of free agency so far, so go over and get that. And then RGR Football, where you can see us break down the Chiefs and the rest of my staff, kind of go at it from every angle you can find. So check those all out. Go over, get subscribed here on the Locked On Podcast Network, because that means your team every single day on every platform for free. You everydayers, we want everybody to be just like you. You can watch it here on YouTube, where you can like, sub, and hit the bell. You can listen to it on Spotify, on Apple, and any audio platform out there, all for free 5 days a week. Plus, we give you plenty of bonus content as well. We appreciate you everydayers. Make sure you like, sub, and get over on all the audio platforms as well. We're going to go through it. 7 rounds today. What the priorities become, what the opportunities are, and how we get started starts right now, Chris. Are we set up? What do we think? Has anything changed that we're going to see here fall in the first round?
I wouldn't say anything has really changed, other than maybe we take defensive tackle off the need. Maybe at this point they've signed a couple of guys. They've brought back 3 guys from the roster, so I think that brings it off the list a little bit. If somebody drops to them, that's a different story. And with where they're picking, that certainly possibly could be the case, that they end up having to go or deciding to go that direction just because somebody drops that they don't expect.
Yeah. So do you still think it's in the top 3 and just not one of the top 2?
Yeah, probably.
Awesome.
Defensive end, defensive tackle, probably a toss-up between those 2.
Okay. Well, let's bring that up and we'll get after it and see what we get to. Are we taking trades today?
No, we are not going to take trades today.
Okay. We're going to keep it straight and see what comes to us. A lot of talk about Justin Fields out there. We're still operating under the same pretense.
Yeah, and we are not going to take trades, because if we're going to take trades, there's no way we can do 7 rounds. So sure. We will keep it just going straight at this point, and maybe we get into trades next week.
All right, well, let's get rolling. Pick number 1 for the Kansas City Chiefs is coming up here as we see who comes off the board. Couple of tackles, run-on tackles in the mid-round, and a couple more there late. What ends up happening is it is, in fact, the top prospect available, according to PFF, is now a defensive tackle, as we just discussed, not where we're going to go. We got to go back and take a look at our top 2 needs, in my opinion. Are you solid with that?
Yeah, I don't know much about Newton, so that's interesting that he fell from 11 to 32 at this point.
Going to be 33 here in a second, because he ain't going to us. I will tell you this. I do like the player, but as you said, with re-signing everyone, you do need to get another player on the defensive line, but I don't think it can be the first or the second pick, to tell you the truth, unless it were somebody that really fell. And I don't have Zertan. I have him as a first-round player, but I don't have him as high as, say, a Byron Murphy or even a Brandon Fisk. I have Fisk above him, and I have Zertan right down where he is now. I have Newton in the 28th, 29th spot. So certainly, if they hadn't done the re-signings, we could go there, but I don't think that we should at this point. I would stick here. Ladd McConkey, the best wide receiver on the board. What else? We got Troy Franklin available. 2 very, very different flavors. McConkey just had an excellent pro day. So did Troy Franklin. So it's funny that it's the 2 of them that are right off the boards to begin with that are available at wide receiver. That would be followed by the second-tier guys, maybe third-tier guys, in all honesty, on my board when it comes down to Roman Wilson and Ricky Pearsall, et cetera. what you're getting here is some edges mixed in. We got to look at offensive tackle because there was quite a run on them in the first round. Jordan Morgan, I believe, is probably by standards off of the Chiefs' radar because he is a sub 33 arm length tackle. I don't think they're going to be into that. I believe they have a threshold hard at going to listen to. I think there's going to be room with Guyton off the board. Those tackles, they're going to fall back down. I think it's going to be one of these wide receivers. I prefer right now to kind of we've looked at some of the longer, taller X's. I'd like to see Rashee Rice go outside. So I think Ladd McConkey is a guy that can run out of the slot and be productive. He can go outside when he has to. But I really like his change of direction. His feet are incredibly quick. And the guy's been productive for years. So I'm more than happy to take him at 32.
I think this is the third draft in a row we've taken McConkey if we go that direction.
Well, then let's flip that because the skinny guy that plays outside is very fast over the top. Troy Franklin will go up and get the ball too. So sorry, I must have forgotten that one. Let's flip it up and go Troy.
Okay. I'll go Troy.
Now, Troy, I agree. I would have McConkey a little bit over Troy. Troy's a third-tier wide receiver for me. Basically, I have 3 at the top, and then I have a chunk, 5 or 6 in the second group. These guys would fall. Ladd would be in it. Troy would be at the top of the third group. Gotcha. Interesting, the wide receivers are still on board. Love Jalen McMillan here. And if we had the opportunity to go tackle first, I would have loved to see Jalen McMillan here at 64. But what you have here is I would take DI out of there. I don't think we're going to go second round DI either. Jonah Ellis is a solid player. I don't have him ranked as high as this, so I don't think this is the spot for him. I have not been able to get Yale film, so I have not seen Kieran at all. Again, Jalen McMillan, receiver that's worth it. Des Walker, interesting here. I agree. Mid-70s, mid-second round is probably where mid-third round is where I would have him. I would keep scrolling and see what we have for tackle options. Because at 94, I don't think there's going to be much. Blake Fisher is their highest rated. I have Patrick Paul above him. So let's see if he's still available. I didn't see if he went off the board. Brendan Rice is a nice option here. Okay, so Patrick Paul is here. I also like Dominic Pooney. And if they decide to bring back a tackle that they know, I could see that. But right here, Pooney's a jack of all trades, not a master of none, right? He can play 5 positions on the offensive line. Patrick Paul is a developmental tackle, and that's what I would take here in the second round.
Well, tell me about Malachi Corley.
He's an undersized, yak-based receiver. I don't have him as a second-round prospect, but I think what are they rating him here in the 80s? I think that's perfectly fine. Austin Reed, his quarterback, I think has some limitations, so it's been up to him quite a bit, but I don't see the longevity out of him, and I just haven't seen enough Western film. Western Kentucky film is tough to get as well. So I'm comfortable with him in the third, but not here in the second.
What about Johnny Wilson or Jamari Thrash?
Jamari Thrash, I think, is a little bit undersized for what the Chiefs are looking for. Love Wilson. I'd convert him to tight end and let him be an heir apparent and learn underneath Travis Kelce, but I do think that is a positional change, neither of which I think you need to go. You need a tackle prospect. It's going to be Patrick Paul.
Okay. So we're going to go and take Patrick Paul, and when we get back, we're going to get into the third round here in just a moment. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this. Now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right. No cap on that 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to the IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get Robinhood at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim is of Q1 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the day of the first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% match on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, is a registered broker-dealer.
All right, we are on to the third round. Make sure you check out the event for Major League Baseball. It is not only on our channels, they're 24/7 for Locked On Sports Today, but it's also going to be on Amazon Fire. So make sure you check that out. That's coming up on the 20th, and I think you guys are really going to dig it. We have gone wide receiver, tackle in the first 2 rounds, and we are ready to make our third selection as we work down this list. At 95, we've seen Maris Liufau go off just a little bit before. I do like him as a prospect. Max Melton is underrated corner. I wish he was here on the board there, because as we are theorizing, as of we are recording this, Lerjarius Sneed is still on the franchise tag in Kansas City. Nothing has happened there. So you can't say that it's going to happen, but a corner is a position here at the end of the third that I like a lot. DJ James would be a speed athlete that I think you could bring in. Not exactly as much as I'd hoped for in the athletic matrix, but he's coming up on it. Dwayne Carter is pretty well regarded at Duke. I would rather go with Michael Hull, who reminds me a little bit of Mike Dana, who's a little undersized, interior guy. He could go outside if you really needed him to. You could maybe run some games with he and Chris Jones when Chris wants to go outside. So I like that concept. Chris Abrams-Drain is probably my favorite Mizzou prospect in this draft, and I don't think 95 is too high for him. So he is high on the list of our concepts here, unless you disagree.
No, I would be good with him going with the corner. I think that it's always good to restock the cupboard, and I think that if you're looking at what the Chiefs are going to get, they're likely to going to get a third or a second round pick for Snead. So it's basically a trade away and getting a guy on the cheap for the next 4 years. So I think it would be a good move.
I like that concept.
Could be a good move.
And it could be a coin flip, James versus Drain. I like Drain right now. So let's go ahead and take the local prospect out of Mizzou.
Okay. So that gets us to the third round, and now we skip down to the fifth, I believe. Chiefs don't have a 4th round pick. So here we go.
Now this is an interesting contraption right here. We might be able to stay local. I love the concept because Cooper Beebe is the top prospect on their board, and I'm glad that they pointed out. I personally like Braylon Allen as a running back as well, but I think this is still a little bit too rich for me. As you're bringing up most of the positional needs that we think they could still fill, important to take a look at it. Lamia, I'm not sure that I would put here. I wouldn't say as the tackle prospect. That's a guy that I'm willing to take a bet on. I'd scroll a little bit here if you would. Ben Sinnott is probably the tight end most people are wanting to put here. Of this situation, I would take Cooper Beebe as an inside replacement for Nick Allegretti in a heartbeat over going tight end, given that Irv Smith is in town. And I think that there's some athletes available in the next round at tight end. Whereas I think offensive line gets pretty thin here pretty quick.
So you want to go Cooper Beebe?
We can. Let's scroll just a little bit more.
Okay.
And let's see. We have some interior players, both the LSU tackles. Grayson Murphy. He is the quote unquote lesser Murphy brother that rushed up across from Liatu Latu. Definitely a developmental guy. I wouldn't have him this high. I would like to try to come back and see him next round as well. So yeah, let's go Cooper Beebe and keep it at K-State.
Okay. Which gets us down to another 5th round pick for the Chiefs, number 159.
And there is my guy. This worked out perfectly. I'm a big Dallin Holker fan. He did not time well at the combine. I'm really disappointed by that. On film, especially if you guys go back and watch the Colorado game, he was all over the place. He's a great athlete. He brings a physicality. He can line up at wide receiver or tight end. He's a bit of a tweener there, but again, a guy that might be able to learn from Travis Kelce and do some of those things. I do believe he will time better at his pro day at CSU. So I won't touch on his lower than expected athletic matrix. He can certainly take another look around, but I do like him right there at the top of the list.
Okay, and then Miles Murphy.
Development interior guy. I like that selection as a possibility as well.
Jaheim Bell.
Would be right, and would be a second option at tight end as well. Keep going down just a little bit. Barner would be another tight end prospect. So we have some options here. So I would say let's go with Holker and see what we get.
Okay.
And as we do that, I think we should probably understand that these things are going to change as we go through. We're going to finish this draft here in the next segment, but I do just want to say, just because we're picking players at a position, particularly tight end, with the departure of Jody Fortson that we talked about yesterday, and in the arrival of Irv Smith, doesn't mean that they won't go draft somebody. Because Irv Smith's been in the league for a bit. Obviously, Noah Gray, there's rumors and all that kind of stuff. I don't believe the rumors, but he has been around for a little bit. You want a little bit of a youth injection, I think, as well. So I really do think that tight end is a positional possibility here. So let's not take that off the board. When we get back, we'll go to 173. What do you think?
No, I agree with that, and I think the tight end should be a possibility. And I would say if there was some, and I haven't looked at the tight end class well enough yet to say this, but even if somebody that they like is there at 1, I would take it. I would consider taking a first-round tight end, because that is how important to me that position is going to be for the Chiefs going forward. They need to have somebody on the roster that can at least somewhat replace Kelsey, maybe 60-70% of Kelsey, and they don't have that right now.
Yeah, that's very true. Some interesting options coming up here at 173, and we'll do that on the backside of this on the Locked On Podcast Network. We all know it's hard to get tickets to Arrowhead, and it's even harder if you're trying to go to a Jayhawk basketball game, but you shouldn't have to worry about the tickets for the next big event that you want to get to. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports events, music venues, comedy, and even theater events near you, with great last-minute deals, all-in prices. You can view the seat from the app, as well as the best price guarantee. Gametime takes all the guesswork out of buying tickets to your next event. And to see that seat from the beginning, that's the big thing for me. I want to know where I'm going to be and what my view is going to be. It's the best feature out there. All in prices, no hidden fees, all up front. It's a great deal that you can check it out. And you can buy tickets in seconds with just 2 taps. So take all the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDON for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, you just have to create the account and use the redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off of your first purchase. It's the best way to go about it. Gametime, get it today. It's last minute tickets, it's lowest prices, and it is guaranteed. Okay, I think we've done pretty good at positional value here, and you get more value by watching the Locked On Sports Today feed. It's free and available everywhere here on YouTube, as well as on Amazon Fire TV. You can find it there, and on the Amazon Fire app. So make sure you check out Locked On Sports Today for 24/7 sports. Looking here, this is the area where I could consider a running back, and I like the first option. Dylan Lobb made some noise at the. He's a smaller dude, catches the ball well, can run some decent routes. Not the fastest. I'm looking for more of a home run hitter, but I do like him as an option. Would you go here, or should we take a look at every available player right this minute?
Well, considering they haven't made a move at running back, and I think the only ones that they have on the roster right now are Pacheco and Prince and P. Ryan. They're probably going to be looking in the draft for a running back. I don't mind going running back, but I think we ought to still look and see what's going on.
Absolutely. Let's take a scroll. Tyron Tracy's an interesting one. Got to keep it in the fam, so that's always good. AJ Barter is another tight end. Keep on scrolling. Excuse me. Jordan Jefferson and Ryan Watts are both 2 prospects that I do like in this area of the draft. Some versatility there. A DB that maybe we can come back and try to get with our next pick. I doubt he lasts that long because we're about 60 picks away from where we'll be, maybe more than that, 70 now. Mm-hmm. So Tiff Ryman, we've kind of addressed the tight end position, but he did have a nice athletic matrix come out. Deshaun Anthony, not anything that I really need to go get. And let's see, anything else popping out here? Just keep on rolling. Brennan Jackson, unfortunately, was not able to finish the Senior Bowl with an ankle injury. I did like what he put on tape, and I do think as a developmental guy, he could rotate in. They have B.J. Thompson. They have a number of guys that we know are questions. But if you went back and just cycled on your position of favor right here, let's take a look at what you think the positional need is best.
Well, we've kind of already addressed some of these, and I didn't turn on positional need actually, and I think I don't want to turn it on, to be honest, because at this point in the draft, in 6th and 7th, I don't know that you're really looking positional need near as much as you're looking for best player available. And they want to go best player available for the most part on most of their picks. But this is the area where you're really going to be adding people that are going to help you with special teams as well. So, if you find a guy that you like that's the best at his position, great. If you don't, maybe you draft somebody else. The other question is does Connor Beebe snap? Because right now the Chiefs do not have a backup center.
I believe that he can. I don't think that he has a K-State. That's my understanding
Gotcha.
anyway. I would go with Lob then. Take him. He's the top on the board. Let's roll with it.
Okay.
And now we're going down to 252, yeah?
Yeah, 80 picks almost. A little bit of a wait here.
That's the way that it goes. I think overall, I like the way that this is going. We'll be able to make a value pick. I think, agree with you, like mostly aimed at special teams. So show me corners and wide receivers, and let's see where we go from there.
You want linebackers too? Safeties?
Yeah, I'd rather go corners for now. Let's see.
Okay.
Jarius Monroe, the Tulane corner. I do like him. I wouldn't say he's the fastest. Griffin, I think timed a little bit better. DeAndre Prince, I have
What
not
a name.
watched yet. Right? Keep on going. Oh, that's it.
That's it.
The pickings are thin at 252, as you might expect. Throw in them linebackers, and let's see what we got. There you go. Edifon Ulufosio. That is your pick. Maybe the most athletic linebacker in this class, much as Willie Gay was in his class. Definitely a special teams ace. Has some recognition issues, so getting on the field is going to be a long shot, but he might be able to beat out Cole Christensen and Jack Cochran even. He is more of an athlete.
There you go. And that gets us done with our draft. And here it comes with grades.
So up top of everybody's pressing need on the offensive side in Troy Franklin, we come back with the developmental title to battle Wanye Morris in Patrick Paul. Less powerful, leaner, better feet is how I would really project Patrick Paul. Local corner Chris Abrams drain in anticipation of L'Jarius Sneed probably moving on. I think that's somebody that can come in behind Watson and Williams, learn it up, and give you more depth. Again, Cooper Beebe, all-around guard in the back. Backup role, interior Allegretti replacement, who I think once Joe Thuney does retire, I think you can probably see that in 2 seasons, 3 seasons. You have an heir apparent and you can move into the starting lineup. And I don't even want to get started on the other scenario for next year. I know where you're going. Dallin Hooker, the tight end, can do a little bit and can definitely line up at wide receiver as well. Seen him do that well. Dylan Lobb, a really crafty little running back that I think could help them out. And Edifon Ulufosio. I think that's a nice, well-rounded, pretty athletic group.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Chiefs have been drafting for defense for the past several years, and I think that this is probably a year that they probably do a little bit of a flip. I think that they're going to have to draft some more offensive talent. They need to add more to the offensive side of the ball, and I still think that they could still add another wide receiver on top of what they have here. So we're still waiting in free agency as of this recording right now. They haven't signed anybody, so it's possible that that's something that will change things a little bit. I don't think it will change their need at wide receiver. I think that they still need one unless they sign 2 guys, which we'll see.
We definitely will. Let us know what you think. Are you happy with this haul? Again, we're not taking trades yet. That's coming as we get closer to the draft and we get through some of the free agency needs and lock down exactly what they need. We would like your opinion. Leave your comments below on the YouTube video. Leave it in the iTunes reviews, wherever you want to do that. Apple Podcast reviews. We appreciate you being with us. We have content all week. It is coming. More position review and updates tomorrow on what we have. We'll even have any breaking news come out on the text line at 816-357-8781. And then Derek will be back with us on Wednesday. We're going to cover what he sees from the inside and what the view is that might differ from what's outside here in the fan base versus what's going on inside the organization. It's going to be an interesting week as we hit the second wave of free agency where I think the Chiefs will be a little bit more active. So keep it here. Any breaking news, you'll have a bonus episode from us. So make sure you like, sub, and hit the bell here on YouTube and get subbed on both Spotify and Apple. We appreciate you spending your time with us. Hope that you've enjoyed this. And it's a good way to start off a week with a mock draft Monday. We're going to be back with you tomorrow, same time, same bat station. Thanks for spending it with us today.